Hey y'all, welcome to episode 208 of Consignment Chats, where today we are going to answer 3 questions that we hear consistently or read in Facebook groups of resellers consistently. The first one being, how do I find consignors?
Can I make money on consignment?
And how do I get the things that I want to sell on consignment?
We hear these constantly. And we always will see, I see a lot of negative feedback answers on it too. And y'all, we're about to wipe all that away from you. We're gonna show you how easy, clean, simple, and the why we're so passionate about it. But first, we're gonna talk about our week because that's how we roll. I gotta know what's going on with you ladies. We're coming into this holidays, hard, fast, Q4's about to end. Like, what's going on?
I'm closing in on my yearly goal. I'm like so close. I can literally taste it right now. It's just, but I can't stop. I can't stop. I got to keep going. It's tempting to be like, oh, I'm close enough, but I can't stop. I can't take my foot off the gas.
Y'all have heard us say this before. Libby is very competitive. And when she sets goals, man, it is like full force drive, overdrive, full speed ahead, pushes things out of the way, clears the path. She's like Samantha's snowblower.
It's right. I'm like the rest of the eBay sellers out there listening to this. And I'm like, well, and store owners and many other people, I'm sure that I'm like, well, this was a crappy year. I'll try again next year. And Libby is like, who needs to eat and sleep? Let's freaking do this. We got this. Come on.
I will not let 2024 end without meeting that end goal.
I am so proud of you, Libby. You are an inspiration, and you are inspiring like everybody in our motivation or in our mastermind and in our groups and stuff. They hear about this every day. I had a conversation with a couple people yesterday, and they were like, how does she do it? Like, because we were talking about how we're like the rest of sellers. And we were just like, well, next year is going to be great.
The next 12 weeks are going to be great is all I have to say, because we learned a very valuable lesson this year about goal setting. Yes.
Absolutely.
If you want to learn more about that, you can join our Patreon and specialty club and figure it out, because I'm even a wee bit excited about it, and I'm usually the one that's like, you do you, boo, you do you. But no, I got the book. I'm ready to roll.
All right.
So yeah, my week, y'all, started off rough. I got the estate sale flu. It's like the bird flu, only it's from estate sales.
She keeps telling me about this, and I keep telling her that's not a thing. But if she keeps going with it, we're going to ban her from estate sales.
I know. I went to all these estate sales over the weekend. Videos posted, by the way. Check out our videos. A couple of estate sale videos out now. They're fun, funny to watch back. If y'all could see me editing some of these things, first of all, because by the second one, I was clearly getting sick because I had to edit a lot of sniffles in that video. But daggum, I was powering through and filling my bags.
I want everybody to watch the part where she's caressing a piece of furniture. That's the part. You don't even need the sound on, because I have no idea what she's saying, but she's definitely caressing lovingly a piece of furniture.
I wanted this piece of furniture so bad for my glass collection, and I got the nicks from the Nick. And he was like, we can't even get it home. It won't fit in the SUV. And I'm like, we'll hire somebody. And it's one of those things after the fact. I'm like, I really should have pushed harder on that, because I'm still wishing I had it. It was a beautiful piece of furniture. But
she told me about it that day, about like, oh, I shouldn't have left it behind. And this is what Nick said. And I don't agree with him. And I was like, it's okay. It clearly wasn't meant to be. It was too far away. And then I watched the video, and the love she had for that piece of furniture, and I'm like, oh, now I'm a little mad at Nick. Like, it maybe should have happened.
Should have gotten that. Dadgum him. Anyway, so
let's talk about the big win here, your other personal win, that, people shouldn't be feeling that bad for you, because you did pick up something you really have been after forever.
Y'all, my bucket list. On my bucket list, and this episode actually hasn't been put out yet. on my bucket list for years now, I have wanted a vintage aluminum pom-pom Christmas tree because I have my game room at Christmas time turns into an MCM. I keep saying mid-century modern, and it really kind of is, but it ends up being not just MCM. It's just my retro throwback Christmas room because it does mix some other airs in there that I just have to add in.
We'll just call it the old AF Christmas room. There we go.
Room. And so I finally found one. I was going to find one in the wild, and dadgummit, I got it. I did. I went there, got there early, got in there, and boom, I was number one on the list and grabbed it. So that was a win. Yeah, for sure. But I had another win, and I can't remember because I was so out of sorts the beginning of the week if I even talked about hitting my mega goal.
Oh, like, you haven't. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell the people.
I make goals weekly. I started this with Libby, like a year plus ago, where I would make a goal. So this is how much money I want to take home each week. This is how much money I'm going to profit. This is how much money. So I made my goal, and then I set a stretch goal. Well, Q4, my stretch goal kept getting blown out of the water. So I made another goal. And then that one got blown out of the water last week. And I set an, I don't know, uber bold goal. And it was crazy.
That was crazy.
Crazy sale. So this week, I just found out yesterday I met my goal, which I'm thrilled with because I have not listed minimal this week because I've been sick. So I just have not been listing like I did.
Can we first talk about how you were going to meet that another week, but Libby, the creature of habit, who you could like set a watch by with some of her stuff, actually paid you out earlier in the day than she would. Yeah, than she was usually did. And really,
I mean, nobody's used to me having plans and having a social life. The one day I did, I screwed everything up.
I know. I go in there and I'm like, Nick, I hit it. I finally beat this number for the first time ever. I beat this number, and I go into the account and I look and I'm like, why is it $200 less? And then I look, I'm like, oh my God, Libby paid me out yesterday, not today. What? I didn't make my goal.
She literally called me crying. That was
I said, you paid me out a day early and I didn't meet my bazonka goal. I don't know. Nick had a name for it. We always come up with names for everything.
The mega. It was the mega goal. It was the mega goal. Yes.
But the following week, I not only made the mega goal, but I blew that out of the water and made the extreme, I don't know.
Because
ultimate
then
mega super goal.
Yeah.
Ultimate mega super goal.
But really it was because you had that extra day because she paid you out early. So then you had extra time to reach your super extra mega bazonka goal. And then
a little bit of money rolled over. And I said that to Libby, and she goes, oh no, you don't do that. Don't you dare do that.
No. You blew everything right out of the water. So you've been nailing it.
Yeah. So I really thought this week was going to be rough because I mean, it's Christmas, right? Like,
yeah.
So, people are, but yeah, I was thrilled last night or this morning when I realized, okay, I hit my main goal and that's great. That's great.
That's awesome. Right. I didn't even know that. That's really cool.
So I will do some listing today in hopes that, I get excited about it for me just because it's fun to set those goals. It's just fun to have something to push for, but I'm also trying to help Libby meet her year goal. So I've got some more listing today and this weekend to really try to get that up again and help her.
You do. Goal, so. Yeah, you do. Because you've been really listing some bangers lately.
I know. Well, Nick told me I couldn't go sourcing this weekend. He said no, but that's where I find my bangers each week is when I go out, I'm looking for specific bangers that I think will quick sell, right?
I need you to stop though. Can you just maybe look around your living room right now? And I'm betting there's some bangers there, and that's why you're not allowed to go look at other people's living rooms this weekend.
There's some good stuff, but I am going to run out today. So be looking. I might do a little Goodwill or a little.
Did you finish the car parts?
You mean these?
Yeah. Are they all listed?
No, they're right here to be
They're
listed.
right here. You were listing them yesterday. I witnessed it.
Right here. Yeah, right here.
I just
almost done. Home stretch.
They're almost done. I know.
They've
Samantha
been almost done for like 3 months.
So y'all, Samantha got on me the other day. I think we were in a meeting. I don't know what, maybe it was a live, and she got on me about why do you get things like that and you go all excited and then you list some of it and then you forget about the rest and you let it sit. And why are you not just completing it, right? And I'm like, well, because I like to keep those kind of things as fill-in listers, because if it's little stuff you can do anywhere, like jewelry. Like I have a big thing of jewelry upstairs that's not listed. And every now and then I'll be like, okay, I need some fast listing. Let me go grab a scoop of thing of jewelry, right? Well, she gets so mad. Well, she's fussing at me and Nick's in the background hearing this. So the next morning I wake up and what comes from upstairs and is sitting on my desk, but the bucket of the unlisted car parts. And I'm like,
so we're coming up with a name of this. You are absolutely not alone in this. And guys, let us know in the comments if you are one of, because this is common, right? We've discussed it in mastermind in our groups where we're going to call these people the 90%ers. You do 90% of a task.
Yeah.
And the last 10% may or may not ever get done. And for Samantha and I, we're 100%ers. Like we start it, we finish it.
So Libby actually caught me. Libby
caught
me this week. Libby caught me this week because yes, most of the time I open a box or a bag and I list the box or the bag like that. I don't move on until that's done. I think because it's consignment and like it keeps it organized. I know whose it is, and it's everything's on a timeline. Like that's the next thing I need to list. However, I parted out a couple vintage Thomas the Train track sets this week.
Ah.
And I listed $340 worth of train track pieces. However, which was a lot. Like it probably, if someone was going to, do the math, probably about 90% of the whole box. Except I have like 10 of these little trains sitting here, the actual money of the whole thing, and I haven't listed them yet. And it's been a week. I don't know.
So here's what's going to happen, because this is what I got the told you so after my car part showed up at my workspace the next day. So to appease them both, I went into our 24-hour listing room that we have in our Patreon and started working with others and thought, I'm going to make Samantha and Nick happy and I'll list some of these. So I think I listed like 5, and sure enough, overnight one sold. And they were like, see?
She listed about 90% of what she had left.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
oops.
Now we did call Don out, the Donovan collection. He is also a 90%. He actually might be like a 60%er. He lists enough to know that he's going to like break even on what he paid for the lot, because he doesn't do consignment. And then like he feels good about himself. Like as he's listing, he'll sell a couple of them and he's like, oh, well, that's all paid for. And he moves on to the next box of whatever. And so we called him out on that. And the day we called him out, he got a box of neckties, and he listed over the next couple days every single one of those neckties.
Oh, did he get them all done?
I'm 99% sure he did.
Or are you 90% sure he did?
I know. He was giving me updates like every day, but I haven't talked to him in like 2 days. So he might still be a 90%er. Don, let us know. Let us know.
Don.
Yeah.
So, all right. I mean, maybe not like, all right. From my perspective, I was right. Like doing 100%, that's the right thing to do. And, maybe it's not. Maybe it's better to be a 90%er. I don't know. But
so
like,
I feel like Dawn has an entire storage unit of 10% though. So
here's my mentality behind it. I think there's certain things that you've just got to go through and get up. Like get them up because they take a lot of space. You need to get them packed in a bucket. You need to get them away. Those things I'm more likely to just get done. But when I buy a lot of something that's small, like these car emblems, like jewelry, like I bought a lot of lace, antique lace, those type things, I kind of go with the mentality of Don, where I put enough up and then I know, okay, I am now making money off of these, anything that sells. And then I set them aside and work on the other stuff. And then, like I say, I fill in the holes as needed. Now,
okay, wait. You list the stuff that is selling almost immediately, making you money, and you're like, wow, these are great. I'm not going to list anymore.
well, no, because I've gotten other stuff that I need to get up and get out because it's bigger and it's in my way and I want it gone.
But they make you money.
I don't know, Samantha. I think we're probably never going to wrap our heads around it. But the fact of the matter is, the 90%ers are crushing it. So
they are crushing it.
I mean, come on.
Once in a while, I just need them to look at me and say, see, I can list a whole lot. And, prove me wrong. Oh, no, you proved me wrong.
Whoa. I went to that lady's house and did the whole buyout on all of her knitting and cross stitch and all that.
Yes.
All that got listed. All that
good job.
All and got it done. So there are times when I will just do it all. But one point that Libby makes that I think is a good point for anybody who's kind of waxing and weighing between 90% and 100%. Libby makes a good point of things that you get, like a collection of stuff. A lot of times somebody's coming to shop your store, and if you get it all up at once, they're going to look at all of your items and possibly bulk batch buy. If you don't, are you losing sales by not having it all up when that particular person comes into your eBay store?
I think 1,000%. Not even 100%, 1,000%. You are losing out if you have a collection and you are not listing it all.
Yeah, I do.
How many times do people message us and say, "Hey, I collect X, Y, and Z. Do you have any more?" Or, "Hey, I like the look of these. Do you have things that go with them?" And then you multiply that, like by 1,000, because the people that aren't messaging that to us,
So I mean, all right, so that's a common myth. Let's just blow that out of the water here, because we hear that a lot, is like, oh, I need to mix up my listings. I need to list a little bit of clothing, a little bit of collectibles, a little bit of this, a little bit of this size, a little bit of that size. And when you have a collection or something like that, I think that is a myth that needs to just stop. Now, there are exceptions to it. I'm talking about collections.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I used to be in that camp. I used to say, well, I'll just list 10 pairs of pants and then 10 shirts. And then I need to put 3 of those collectibles in. And then I'll do 10 more shirts. And then I'll put 3 more and I would sprinkle things in. It wasn't efficient because I wasn't batching enough. Like, I should just list the 30 pairs of pants, or Samantha's not going to list the freaking pants, and list that collection and list whatever. My worry was the categories and the things that you can set on your eBay store and on my website. You'd log in and you would just see, like, my most recent listed like 20 things. And if it was just Miss Me jeans, well, the guy that's going in there to shop, like, he just doesn't care about those jeans. Like, why? So I was trying to vary it up so that everybody could be happy when they open up my website, which was dumb. You know what I did instead recently? I went in and I changed my website so that it has other things showing up first and not my most recently listed.
Yeah.
So it's more user friendly. I don't know why I was so hung up on that.
I think because it's one of the common, it's something common that we hear all the time in the eBay communities, is you got to mix it up. You got to do that. Yeah.
So, and here's my segue into our questions, because this is the difference too between being a consignment seller or a reseller who goes out and sources your items. Because I do think when you're a consignment seller, obviously you want to get that consignor's items up, dated by when they come in, right? The other beautiful thing about consignment is that whole myth doesn't matter, because 9 times out of 10, maybe even 9.99 times out of 10, what they consign is not one like item. You're getting a mixture of collectibles, clothing, sizes, seasons, and so you're already listing that way. So it's not, you don't have to think about it as much if you're just listing by consignor and dates that come to get them up. Whereas I think maybe resellers who go out sourcing and putting their money out, maybe even overthink it. I don't know.
I mean, it takes time to think about all of that and to
Yeah.
mix things up. It's not efficient when you're
Just
doing batch.
Right.
Like batching is efficient. I think everybody in the community agrees on that.
Yes.
That point. And when you have to interrupt that to, fit into some kind of pattern,
Right.
that may not be beneficial.
Right. Right.
You're losing time. Yeah.
Well, and
Absolutely.
like you said, I mean, we sell all the time. You put in a pair of size 32, 30 men's pants, and you've got a consignor who put 3 different colors in there. I mean, just the other day, Libby, you sold 2 pairs of the same size pants, different colors. I mean, it happens all the time. If you had only listed one of those because you had to jump over to shirts,
right,
you sold them together. So yeah, I mean,
yeah. I always think about there was a woman that had a bunch of size 10 pants. That this is going back a couple of years, like 50 pair of size 10 pants, and I did them all. And guess what? Like people went in and they bought a few of them at a time.
Yeah.
And if I had mixed it up, they would have bought one from me. They would have bought one from somebody else. They would have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got that combined shipping deal, man.
Yeah.
Or they would have got multiple from somebody else and not bought any from you.
Yeah. True.
So if you want to stop overthinking it and stop thinking about it and just do consignment and list what comes in bag by bag, person by person, we can help you. How do I find my people?
Yeah. So that's the number one question I think consignment chats gets.
Yeah.
How do I find consigners? And it's so easy.
First of all, you need to go to consignmentchats.com, get a sample agreement, and know your terms. So many people say, oh my gosh, I want consignment. How do I get consigners? People need to bring me their stuff. And then almost immediately, people reach out to them because they put it on Nextdoor or Facebook or whatever. And then they panic a second time because they're like, wait, now what do I do? So know your terms first. What your percentage is going to be, how long you're going to sell things before they expire, what you're going to do with them after they expire, all those things, so that you are prepared for the ridiculous amount of people that are going to want you to sell their things.
Yeah. So, I mean, get your terms ready. No, it should take you about 5 minutes after you download the sample agreement. If you have questions, hop into our Patreon group. You can get them answered if you have like on a specific term.
Yeah.
But keep it simple. And I say, don't, I'm going to say this a hard and fast. Do not start by posting something generic on Facebook or Nextdoor. Start with number one, yourself. Put your own stuff through your consignment process. You have stuff around the house. We know you do. But then after that, family and friends.
Yep.
Family and friends.
Even
somebody that's asked you. Yeah.
My husband has a consignment account.
Yeah.
And yes, he only gets 50% because there's no special privileges. I stick to my terms.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, think twice about, I would say the next step would be maybe Facebook or Nextdoor but start with family, friends, and acquaintance, like somebody close to you first, because if you're a reseller, chances are somebody asked you to sell their stuff. So start there, because once that door opens, it snowballs much more quickly than you think it will.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we said to people, just start with family, like don't, and they don't believe us.
Right.
They think it's way more complicated than that.
Take your terms take your terms to Thanksgiving dinner or that New Year's Day party or whatever holiday is coming up right now. Take them there, pass them around so that you can make sure that it's easy for people to understand. And if they're asking the same question, maybe you need to address that in your agreement and things like that. And then by the time you're halfway through that table of passing them around to aunts and uncles and family members, you're going to have several of them that are like, oh, I'll bring that stuff over next week.
Yeah.
But I don't live near family. I don't really have any friends. There's nobody.
Do you have neighbors?
No.
Do you have someone that drops off your groceries and you say hello to them? Because they probably ask what you're doing. They might. Yeah. I mean, do you have a mail person that picks up all the packages you're selling online? They've probably asked why they all say eBay on the sides of them.
True story. I had my mailman drop off a mystery package of consignment. Like, I didn't know it was from him. Yeah, it showed up. Like, yeah.
I love it. I love
He's just like, oh, hey, I want in on this.
I want in on this. Absolutely.
He doesn't even know your terms. I love it.
He doesn't even know the terms. It was just a mystery bag of sweaters that showed up like where my mail packages usually be. We had no idea where it was from, who it came from.
So funny.
It's a couple weeks to figure it out.
I remember when you got that. I didn't know that was him. That's great. Okay. Yes. So, I mean, literally anybody, the lady walking her dog down the street and you're out getting your mail, like, you got to talk to somebody.
People in your gym class, people at the gym, anybody you have conversations with.
If you're not talking to anybody throughout your day, like anybody, I think we have other issues than you finding consigners. Like, I don't, is there somebody in a chat room you're talking? I mean, I have consigners send me stuff from Colorado and New York and Florida, and they pay the shipping. Like,
I mean, my best consigners are other resellers. So surely you're in a reselling group. Hey, you might even be in ours.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess what? Even though we're all sellers, we don't like to sell certain things. And maybe it's something you love to sell.
We all just had one of our C-chatters consign stuff with each one of us that she shipped to us, and we're all listing because she got a whole bunch of stuff. She's like, I don't want, and we're like, well, send us each a box. We'll put you on consignment, and there you go.
Which we don't normally do, and we are not advertising that. We just love her very much.
Because, guys, guess what? That snowball rolled for all of us in a very crazy way. It is like bigger than the abominable snowman right now. Like, it's nuts.
Right.
So we have enough consigners. We're good like that.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
So what happens if I only like to sell a certain thing? I like to niche down, and I mean, like, consignment's just for everything sellers, right? Like, you get just a bunch of everything and some junk and stuff.
Oh gosh, no. And look, that's what your agreement's for. Go ahead and put that in your agreement. You write all that in, what you're willing to accept, what you sell. Put that in your terms, and let people know, and stand firm to what it is you want to sell. If you only want to sell jewelry because you don't have much storage space, or you want to sell glass handbells because you like a algorithm.
Good algorithm, yes.
Because you love collectible bells and it's a passion of yours and you want to get into selling them. Whatever it is, you're the boss.
You're the boss. I always think of, do you remember Jack from Conchi, the older gentleman? He would come in with his girlfriend. You don't remember? So he was the guy. He went around. He came in the consignment store all the time. He went around to every single yard sale, estate sale, everything. And he sold musical instruments.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Like, he was well known. So guess what? If we got a musical instrument, guess who we were calling? If I saw a yard sale with the musical instrument, guess who I was calling? So it may not be that person that wants to consign with you, but it's good to have that network of people. And you know what? Sometimes he got stuff and he would consign it with us because it wasn't a musical instrument.
Right. I was just going to say that. Yeah. Network and talk to people, because you never know when somebody else is going to say, oh, well, I got a heck of a deal on this stuff. Or somebody, gave me their whole storage unit. There's so many stories out there. It's nuts. And somebody gave me the whole storage unit, but I only wanted the guitars. So do you want to take the rest of it and we'll consign it? Or like, it's just, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Or they say, I don't do guitars and you're the guitar seller. They're going to come around and be like, oh, yep, I know Becky does the guitars. Here you go.
Yeah, when I did get some storage units before, paid like $30 for a storage unit, and it had a bunch of furniture, and I don't do large items or furniture. But I called my friend that specifically sells furniture at flea markets, and I said, "Hey, you want a truckload of blah 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 blah? Send her a couple pictures." And she said, "I'll be by in a couple hours with $100." And I'm like, "Deal." I already tripled my money from the storage unit. She was pumped, and I didn't have a truckload of furniture anymore. It was great.
Boom.
So don't be afraid to niche down. Like, I'm an everything seller because I truly love selling everything.
Right.
But that's the only reason.
Right.
And don't make assumptions about what people have. Like, so many people say, well, I mean, my area. Well, my area.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
the
that's a big
neighborhood I
one.
live in, or the people on my Facebook, or, the people in my Nextdoor app, or you don't know. You don't know at all what is hiding in somebody's basement because their grandma liked to collect it. Like, you don't know.
Right.
I mean, I could put out right now that I want everybody to send me adorable little trolls. And there'd probably be somebody out there with a whole collection. I wouldn't sell them because I think they're adorable and I want to keep them all. But I'm sure somebody has them out there.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
So let people know, be specific if you need to be. Be specific. Yeah.
With all the chatting we're doing about this, there's still people listening that are doubtful. Like, oh, I don't know if I can make that step. Oh, I don't know. Am I really going to find people?
Yeah. So there are two things. When I see a post on Facebook, which is like a lot, there are two things that I make sure they know about in the comments. 3, know your terms. We talked about that. Part of your terms needs to be an expiration date. Because, and Libby taught me this one, you can only keep the items for so long. You don't want to have them forever. And then you're committed to that consignor forever. Like, that's right. There's so many people that say, oh, consignment's terrible. I never knew when to get rid of it or how to get out of it. Or no, have a period. Libby's is 60 days. Mine's 180. And after that, those items are ours. It says it right in the agreement. Everybody knows about it. We do everything we can, sales, everything, to sell the item while it is the consignors so they get money. But there's a lot of long tail items, and a lot of people that are niche down say, oh, my items are long tail. That's okay. People will still give them to you. You will still make some sales, and then it will go into your inventory because you put all the time and effort into that. So make sure that you are compensated appropriately.
Yeah, you are not making a lifetime commitment here, folks. Yeah. I mean, I don't believe in lifetime commitments, so I had to teach Samantha and bring her over to my evil ways. No lifetime commitments here.
Well, and I had an expiration date, but then I was just donating things, or I mean, I still liquidate, and I still, like, I have my yearly garage sale in the community and all that. Like, and I still do that kind of stuff, but there are some things that stay in my inventory now because they're long tail items and they need a little bit more time.
Yeah. And because you're clear in your agreement. I mean, we've talked about this before on episodes. When you say that at the end of the period, those items become mine, people cringe, like, what, really? And it's okay.
The only people that cringe are other resellers.
I know, but that's right. That's what I'm saying. They cringe, like they can't understand how you could say that to somebody, but it's part of your terms. And I'm going to ask the two of you, how many times have you had consignors complain about that being in your terms?
I've had people not sign the agreement not consign with me because of that. A very low percentage, like single digits. But guess what? Those are the people I don't want. And it just weeds them out. The people that are too attached to their items, that are just not in it for, finding their items a new home, that don't meet my mission. So it weeds them out.
Yeah.
It gives you the ability to be more charitable. And, with some of those money and some of those donations, and do some pretty amazing things in your community. So it's not a selfish, it's not a wholly selfish thing. It's what you need to, help your business thrive, survive, and so that you can give. Yeah, it sets you up so you can give more.
Yeah.
I have had clients congratulate me when I raised my rates and went to a 60-40 split. I had people say, "Oh, that's good. You deserve it." And then at the same time was when I changed my my expiration terms so that they become my inventory after 180 days. And again, I had people saying, "Oh, that's really smart. That's a really good way to run a business."
Yeah.
Cool, because you have great items. So I'm glad that you think that. That's great.
All right. So you know what? I think right off, we have to say, all right, we talked about how you're going to do this, but I think attitude is everything. You are not desperate. Do not set yourself up as being desperate for anyone's inventory.
No.
You are offering someone a very valuable service. You are not asking them to give you anything. You are offering them a service, and you need to go in with exactly that attitude when you tell people your terms. People need this service. There are way too many people out there. I mean, your service is in demand. I don't care where you are in the country, where you live, people can ship you stuff. Your service is way in demand. So don't come at it like,
I don't even care where you are in the process. Like if you are just learning eBay or you dipped your foot into Etsy or whatever. I mean, I sold stuff on Facebook, only Facebook for like a decade for dollars, like single dollars. And people still brought me tons of stuff and stuff that now I kick myself in the butt. Like, man, if I had known about lucite fruit, like that would have been great. But no, I sold it for a couple dollars in the Facebook group. But that's okay because those people were going to bring that stuff to Goodwill anyways. So they were fine making a couple dollars. I was paying for my sushi every week and everybody was happy. So don't think that you have to be like some big time seller, super established or whatever to do consignment. Consignment is a perfect way to start out, not put money into inventory because you don't pay for it until it sells, and dip your toes into things. Get going. Just be confident that you are going to do a good job for them, and it will come.
Yeah. Yes.
So the other thing that I tell people, and that goes along with the don't be desperate thing, is tell them that you have limited spots available. When you make your Facebook post and you say, I sell on such and such a platform and I love selling these types of items. You can check my terms out here or whatever it is. And, inquire if you have things, however you're going to word that, make sure you say, I have 2 spots available, or I have a limited amount of availability, or whatever it is, so that even if you only have 2 people right off the bat that message you, you don't have to take the first 2 people. You can then say, oh, these items don't quite fit in, these whatever. It's an easy way to let them know, sorry, my spots are filled, or it's like another scapegoat that you have to get rid of those red flag people, or to, it's a bargaining tool along with your terms. If they don't fit into your terms, or you're just not feeling right about it, then I'm sorry, these items don't fit into this and my spots are full.
And I think it's more than anything a great way to stop getting yourself overwhelmed right off the bat, because you will have a lot of people come in and you don't want to start off taking 30 people, because you put something like that out there and you're going to get inundated with, sell this, sell that, sell this. If you put a limited amount, it keeps you focused on, I decided I can handle starting off consignment 10 consignors. I'm going to stick to the 10.
Yeah. Let's talk scarcity marketing. I think that's what we're talking about here, right? Like, people want what they can't have.
Right.
People respect something they have to wait for. And this is something that I learned the absolute worst hard way. But so I'm passing it along to you all. We did it. All right. Yeah. Come on in, we'll be taking consignments between 2 and 3 o'clock, whatever, and there were no appointments. For us, this was an absolute unqualified disaster. People did not respect our time. Maybe they didn't show up. They showed up at different hours. Things changed immediately when we said we are booked, and we were booked.
Right.
When we we are booked about, 4 weeks to 2 months out. Would you like to make an appointment? We have very limited spots. The attitude of people changed immediately. They were no longer bringing us junk. They were respecting our time. They were having things ready.
Right.
They were, it was just a whole different ball game, because we didn't seem like, oh yeah, we need your items, bring them in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrible the first way we did it. It was a disaster.
And I think a lot of brick and mortars feel that for sure. And I even felt that working from home. I've told stories about how people would say they're dropping off a couple items and they drop off a whole porch stuffed full to the ceiling of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even their day. They were supposed to drop things off or, So part of your terms and part of your process definitely should be some sort of appointment calendar or just a structure for your drop-offs. Like I limit how much people can drop off at a time. And then, so if I say 4 bags or boxes, and then they look at my Google appointment calendar, which is free, and we have tutorials on how to set that up. If they look at that and they say, oh, well, your next one is like 8 weeks out. And I say, yes, that's exactly right. And you take 4 bags or boxes? Yes, I do. The right consignor, which is luckily most of mine, will then go and book like 3 or 4 drop-off appointments, in the next however many times you have spots open, so that they can get all of their items and bring them to you regularly and get it done. If they're complaining then they're not the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to put people on wait lists or just let them know, check back with me in X amount of time or whatever. I've had people that waited years. And I put something out there saying they're like, oh, you're doing this again. You're accepting things again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you told me you had that collection 3 years ago. I never would have thought you'd still have it. And they're like, oh yeah, we've been waiting for the right thing to come along. That sounds great. I'll bring it over next week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So don't be afraid to make people wait. It's actually a good thing. I didn't take consignments from this year from October, and I won't be accepting them again until February.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It just makes people, want it more. Like we said, your service is in demand. You set the terms. You tell people the items you want, what your terms are, and the right people will come to you.
Yeah, the people messaging me right now, they're like, is your next appointment really at the end of February? And I say, yep, it is, with the holidays, and I'm normally about 6 to 8 weeks out. Oh, okay, just making sure it wasn't a glitch in the calendar. And then they're booking March appointments. Like they're not mad. You'll find the right people. Nobody should be angry with you.
If they are angry, you need to just red flag. We talk a lot about red flags in a lot of our episodes.
They're not the right people.
Do not bend your term. With this one, I think every single one of us has learned the hard way about bending your terms, about being nice, about doing somebody a favor.
Yep.
It backfires. I mean, one of my employees still to this day talks about, she remembers when it finally snapped for her. It was the fans. It was fans, little portable box fans that came into the store, a little old man, and he really gave her a sob story. And we weren't accepting consignments that day, and she took them. And the chaos that ensued after she put them into inventory was unreal. And she's like, yeah, you said this would happen if I bent the rules. And yeah.
Two appliance size boxes full of precious moments from this sweet elderly gentleman. I've been there. And I didn't sell online then. I only sold on Facebook. So there weren't like, ooh, maybe there's a banger in there. It didn't matter. They were all precious moments and nobody cared.
Hey, there's an estate sale this weekend that's got precious moment and snow babies.
Can you send them to us so we can have a painting party in our Patreon?
Right.
And we can paint over them and make them cute little like Easter themed things or something.
I go get some?
Yeah. That is, I mean, granted, I just sold a Precious Moments Nativity last month. And like I have But I mean, the guy brought me hundreds and hundreds of them. And then I had issues with his daughter, and then I had to return a bunch of things to him. But by then he was an assisted living. Like, it was there were so many red flags, and I ignored all of them.
Yeah, you think it's not going to happen, you know? Yeah. Oh, this is the exception.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we see all the time a lot of negativity on Facebook, and a lot of, especially when it comes to consignment. And we are here for all resellers. I mean, we're all about all different ways to do things. But if you see people in comments or on posts saying how much consignment sucks, I want you to just assume that they don't have the right terms, and they're ignoring the red flags, and they need us, or they don't. But they don't. Please don't refer the negative people to us. But just don't take what you see, especially the negativity on social media. Take that with a grain of salt, and do your due diligence and look into things and be open to ideas. There are 17 million ways to run a reselling business. There was a lady that had a post, and it had all of this stuff on it. She was like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? And so much negativity of, well, I would never do consignment again because of this. And I just got a bunch of junk, and I that, and I this. And through that post, she realized she was communicating her goals wrong. She actually wanted to go and have people give stuff to her if she helped organize and do whatever. And so I talked through that a few different ways with her, and that's fine. There's 17 million ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't let the negativity discourage you. There's ways to do it, and there's ways to do it so that you make a profit and you are happy. You're not dealing with angry people. You're giving minimal customer service, because we don't want to talk to a lot of people either. It's fine.
Right.
And
but we've helped so many people with completely different business models put together and come up with the business model that works perfect for them. I mean, we did it with me. Like
the three of us, it's not a cookie cutter thing. The three of us all do things differently, even though we have similarities, and sometimes we copy each other. I'm like, that's a great idea. I'm doing that. But there's still lots of things. And Libby cringes every time I say I only take a couple bags or boxes at a time. She's like, you don't take the whole estate? No, I did that. It was terrible. But it works for Libby.
It works for me.
Right. Yeah. Everybody has a different thing. Yep. Molly goes sourcing every weekend. That also sounds terrible. So yeah, there's different things for everybody, and we can help you either way.
I consign too, but I love to source. What can I say?
You just keep sourcing for the rest of us that will consign it. That's fine.
There we go. There we go. I'll just start shipping y'all boxes. All right, y'all. I am hoping that if you were sitting there debating, do I want to, shoulda, coulda, woulda? Yeah, you can. And yeah, you will. And we are here for you.
Mm-hmm.
You got this. You got this. We all did it. We're all doing it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I like to put those negative Nellies in.
We're not for everybody.
We're not.
How's that?
Consignment's not for everybody.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's not.
It's not. You can be a reseller and not do consignment, but
I think so. Even that lady on that post, she ended up like, she wasn't going to do consignment. She was going to go a totally different way, but she was still putting like way too much work into it, because she was convinced that there just wasn't enough items out there, and she had to put more work into it to get those items. And you shouldn't start that way. You should start just thinking that everybody has what you need in their basement, and you just got to tell them about it so they can bring it to you. And then if you need to broaden things, or you need to expand on what you're looking for, whatever, then you always can. But start narrow, start limited, and you'd be surprised. Don't be desperate. Just don't be desperate.
Don't be desperate. Have that abundance mindset with a scarcity marketing technique. How's that?
Yes.
And the confidence to back it all up with your agreement.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies. Until next time. Look, I got our faces, Samantha.
Oh,